Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joseph Novichkov, Senior Trading Manager with GDM. Today's outlook, we will start with Asian stocks. They traded mixed on Wednesday, mirroring the finish on Wall Street overnight. But bourses in Japan and Shanghai outperformed by scaling new multi-year highs. Japan's Nikkei 225 index is in focus, reclaiming the physiological important 20,000 mark to clinch a new 15-year high, marking its first successful attempt since April 10. Data showing a faster rise in March exports, which climbed 8.5% from a year earlier after a 2.5% gain in February. Buoyed, of course, by the sentiment, while the value of imports tumbled 14.5%, worse than the 12.8% fall estimated. Japan still posted its first trade surplus in almost 3 years. Yen weakness has resulted in Japan's record in bigger than expected surplus, its first surplus, as we mentioned, in 3 years. Little reaction, of course, has been seen in dollar-yen, but it seems the improvement in economics has been welcomed by equity bulls. Meanwhile, in Hong Kong, Hang Seng Index hit a more than 1 week high, up 0.3%. Asian stocks, of course, as we mentioned, traded quite a bit mixed today. We're also looking at today's news, also as to the GBP as an importance, but right now we're looking at the S&P 200 Index Australia. Widened losses after first quarter consumer price that damped chances of a rate cut next month. The country's consumer price index matched the expectations of rise of 0.2% for the first 3 months of this year, bringing the annual rate to 1.3%, below, of course, the Reserve Bank of Australia's long-standing target of keeping inflation between 2–3%. As a result, we're looking at the Australian dollar fired up to 0.7766 against the US dollar, while it moved further away from a parity with the New Zealand dollar at 1.0110 from 1.63 prior to the data release. European markets, as we're looking, are expected to open higher today ahead of a slew of earnings from European companies that may have benefited from the weaker euro. As we're looking at elsewhere in Europe, Greece remains in the headlines as well as today. Greek Finance Minister Yanis Varoufakis said on Tuesday that he's confident Greece would reach a deal with its international lenders, although this may not happen in the upcoming meetings of the Eurozone finance ministers. Also, a brief glance on commodity sector. We're looking at gold. It gave up some of its overnight gains on Wednesday as the US dollar firmed after earlier losses, with investors keeping their attention focused on the Greek debt crisis and its impact on the currency market. Gold eased 0.1% to 1,200.55 an ounce this morning after gaining 0.5% on Tuesday, in reaction, of course, of investor sentiment. SPDR Gold Trust, the world's largest gold-backed exchange-traded fund, said its holdings rose 0.45% to 742.34 tons on Tuesday. Oil prices extended declines from the previous session on Wednesday as Middle East tensions eased after Saudi Arabia ended an airstrike campaign in Yemen. But of course, the industry lenders said the market could rebound as attention turned to rising demand. US crude for June delivery was 59 cents lower at 56.02 a barrel. The May contract, which expired yesterday, ended down $1.12. And of course, the important news today in the calendar, we're looking at Bank of England's interest rate decision coming up at 8:30 GMT. That's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.